Your brain is either your greatest asset or your biggest liability in the face of continuous change. Too many people are going to be left behind because of constant stress. It's just grinding them down. I saw this great meme recently. It was a big, giant, beautiful galaxy, and there was an arrow pointing to a tiny little blip of light, and it said, "You're here paying taxes and living in fear." And isn't that just the case? In this episode, we're going to talk about how to thrive in an age of constant change, unlocking your brain's superpower, the hidden costs of mental rigidity, practical hacks for boosting brain agility, and how to start your journey to a future proof mindset. So, look, we're in an age of constant change now. Fixed mindsets are going to be obsolete in 2025, and now 2026 is coming up with even more change. Look, change is accelerating. There's a huge, rapid pace of technological acceleration, political division, economic change and problems, and technologies and Bitcoin and all these other crazy things are all happening around the world. And so we have to adapt. Look, there's something called cognitive flexibility. And cognitive flexibility means being able to roll with the punches mentally and emotionally. There's a guy named Jack Horner, and what he said was the greatest superpower is to think any thought without liability. We'll talk more about that later. But look, we've got to unlock your brain's superpower. And that is the ability to have cognitive flexibility, being open-minded, allowing something to just come into your awareness and then leave without grabbing onto it and getting all excited about it or all upset about it. The fact of the matter is there are things in the world that happen and we have to allow them. Not that I have to like them or believe they're right. I just have to allow them and let them go. As Mel Robbins says, let them, let it go. It's okay. See, there's a neuroscience behind mental agility, and it's called neuroplasticity, and it's called being able to think new thoughts, just like Jack Horner said, and just allow them to be and understand them. Unlocking cognitive flexibility. That is your brain's true superpower. It's the idea of being open-minded, learning new things, and allowing things to just be without having to grab onto them and resist them. What we really want to do is we want to just be able to career pivot. We want to be able to learn new ideas. We want to learn new thoughts. We want to be able to understand new things like AI and crypto and technology or political divisions, to be able to take both sides of an argument. Those are really new ways for building, strengthening your mind and your mental flexibility, your cognitive flexibility. Imagine a problem arising in life, some new idea, some new thought, some new situation, political, economic, whatever. The whole idea with cognitive flexibility is to say, okay, it's a fact. How can I turn this to my advantage? Let's say you learn about cryptocurrency and say, well, how can I turn that to my advantage? Or some new economic thing or AI, like how can I turn AI to my advantage? So what are the costs of mental rigidity, right? So what we want to have is that cognitive flexibility, because what happens is if we're rigid, that creates more stress, drives up your cortisol, eats up your mindset, and you miss opportunities and you feel overwhelmed. You don't sleep as well, and all these other things happen. Second order and third order effects and impact of not being cognitively flexible. I can give an example of my own, which is that, like 8 years ago, I had a bunch of friends who said, you have to buy a whole bunch of the Bitcoin. It was like $1.50 or something like that. And one guy was putting in $1,000 to buy the Bitcoin. I'm like, that just seems silly to me. I don't believe in that thing. And I didn't. And guess what? He's retired. I'm not, you know? So when you learn about something new, can be cognitively flexible, learn about it, research a little bit about it, find out about it, understand both sides of any arguments about it, and you'll become more cognitively flexible and become more mentally strong. And so all this, what I mentioned, second order and third order effects, all that mean is what happens after the first effect. So I had some emotional effects, you can believe, and psychological effects of not buying the Bitcoin 8 years ago when I saw it going up and up and up, right? So what we want to do is once we begin to have cognitive flexibility and we can begin to stop resisting what we don't want and just allow it and learn more about it, what happens is you become more emotionally available. You have more emotional freedom. You have more psychological freedom. You sleep better. You're not so worried as much because you know you can adapt and change because you now have the superpower of cognitive flexibility. So let me give you some practical hacks for boosting your brain agility, which is to say, growing your cognitive flexibility. Number one, challenge your assumptions. Always challenge your assumptions. Alan Alda, the famous actor for like 30, 40 years, said he became successful because he challenged his assumptions every single day. The second thing you can do, actively seek out new viewpoints. Like I said, you want to do both sides of the coin. On any argument, on anything, we always think we're right, and that's cognitive rigidity. What we want to do is we want to get it right, not be right. What that means is being flexible, being cognitively flexible, being mentally and emotionally and psychologically flexible so you can learn what's actually out in that particular item or that idea. And so the more points of view you have, the more perspectives you have, the more mentally agility you have, the more psychologically and emotionally positive you are and healthy you are. So another piece of this is embracing novelty, trying new things. I mean, in the past couple of years, I came to love coffee, which I had never drank before. And there's a lot of great coffees, let me tell you. I learned paddle boarding. I learned a whole bunch of new things that I hadn't done before. And I keep putting myself into new things, and you can do. And what happens is you go through the learning curve, and pretty soon you go from, I don't know how to do this, to I'm really loving this. And so that's a form of cognitive flexibility that is a superpower just for you. And the third practical hack is what we call what if thinking. And that's where you get to use your imagination, your creativity, your insight, your ability to just look into the future and say, well, what if? What if I do buy $1,000 of the Bitcoin, right, in 2017, right? So what happens if you do that? You begin to say, well, what could happen? What might happen? Could it be worth $2, $5, $10? Turns out it's worth over $100,000 now. The point is, if you do what if thinking, then you open up and expand your mind and your points of view, and you become more cognitively flexible and more cognitively, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically powerful. That's how it works. What if? Well, what if I try this new thing? What if I go do this vacation? What if I read this new book? What if I listen to this new podcast and like and subscribe down below? Look, based upon my research and my experience, you can future-proof your life. You can future-proof your journey. Let's talk about how to do that. There's three things. First, knowing that you can expand and strengthen your cognitive flexibility. You've already started that by watching this video. So thank you, good job, and congratulations on that. Next, think of 5 things that are changing in the world that you're maybe stressed about or worried about or resisting a little bit, and begin to spend an hour a week just researching them, learning more about them, engaging with them, going deeper, so that you can really become someone who's understanding what's going on, and you can be fluent in it, and you can reduce your stress. It's truly the thing you want to do. Third is that you want to begin to notice that your stress levels are in fact dropping. Your curiosity is increasing. Your cognitive flexibility is like a superpower muscle that's building and bulking up like Superman. You're really going for it. You become more resilient, stronger, more flexible, more able. And what that means is you're going to sleep better. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more at ease. You're going to understand the world better. You're going to be able to explain things to your friends that they don't understand yet, which will make you, I guess, kind of their superhero as well. And also, you're going to have this win-win-win attitude about life. And you become a cognitive flexibility champion. You're going to surf through the end of 2025, and 2026 is going to be your year because of that. Now, look, if you've made it this far, check out the video down below, 32 life skills that guarantee success and happiness. I made that just for you, and it's totally connected to this idea of cognitive flexibility. Now, remember to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, and leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.